Thank you for choosing our story. If you enjoy this one, be sure to check out other stories on our channel featuring princes, princesses, fairies, and detective tales, all centered on beautiful lessons about friendship, family, and morals. Let's dive into today's exciting story, The Honest Shoemaker. The story teaches the value of honesty, hard work, and selflessness. It shows that true wealth lies in integrity and the trust and respect we earn from others. Written by Mukhtar Ahmad, this story is a treasure trove of valuable morals. All rights are reserved. The Honest Shoemaker. It was winter. Bala, the shoemaker, was busy repairing shoes under a bare tree. Bala's shop was an open-air setup in the middle of a clean field at the heart of the village. It had no roof or walls, just a simple wooden box for his tools. After finishing work, Bala would place all his tools inside the box, lock it, and close the shop for the day. Despite the bright noon sun, the chilly winter air seeped through Bala's old woolen shawl, leaving his hands and feet numb. Bala was the only shoemaker in the village. Everyone brought their worn-out shoes to him for repair, so he hardly ever had time to sit idle. From morning to evening, he remained engrossed in his work. Despite his poverty, Bala was free of greed. He understood that the villagers had limited incomes and struggled to make ends meet. Bala, like most villagers, was illiterate, but he was aware of their poverty. Thus, he charged minimal fees for shoe repairs. Sometimes, he didn't even receive money for his work. Some villagers paid him with items like chickens, eggs, wheat, vegetables, or jaggery. Once, Bala made new shoes for the 2 children of a villager. In exchange, the man gave him a goat. Thanks to that goat, Bala and his family had easy access to milk. Bala lived in the village with his wife and 2 daughters. To support his household, he had to work hard. His wife was also a hardworking and supportive woman. She helped Bala dye leather for his shoes and also worked in the landlord's fields to earn some extra money. Their combined efforts kept the household running. Their daughters were still young and attended a makeshift school in the village. Bala and his wife didn't let them do any chores. Bala insisted they focus on their studies. Still, the girls would help with small household tasks, making things easier for their mother. Their house had not been repaired in years. It consisted of 3 rooms, and the roofs were deteriorating. When it rained, water would leak into the rooms. Bala often worried about what would happen if it rained heavily during the winter. He had started saving money to repair the roof before the rains arrived. But so far, he had only saved a small amount. To meet his goal, Bala now worked until sunset to earn extra money for the repairs. At noon, Bali arrived with lunch and a tin can filled with burning wood to keep Bala warm. Her thoughtful gesture brought a smile to Bala's face. "Bali, you're amazing," he said. "How did you know I was feeling cold?" Bali blushed at his compliment and replied warmly, "The cold here is the same as at home. I figured you must be feeling cold while working, so I brought this fire in the can." She opened the food container, placed it before him, and said, "Eat, Bala. I'll head home now, the girls will be back from school soon, and I need to feed them too." "All right, you go," Bala said. "But listen, Bali. You go through so much trouble for me, and I feel bad that I haven't been able to give you any comforts. Just wait and see, once I repair the roof, I'll save money again to buy you gold earrings and bangles." His wife smiled and replied, "You work so hard for us from morning till night. I am already content. Our daughters are getting an education, and that's enough for me. I don't need earrings or bangles. It's their turn to enjoy nice things now." Bala nodded, washed his hands with water from a jug, and began eating. Bali returned home, and after finishing his meal, Bala got back to work. Not long after, he saw Bahadur approaching from a distance. Bahadur lived nearby and worked at a brick kiln. He was carrying a sack. As he came closer, Bahadur heaved the sack onto Bala's wooden box, then lowered himself onto the ground, sitting cross-legged with a tired sigh. Bala set aside the shoe he had been repairing and asked, "Bahadur, what brings you here?" Bahadur hesitated before speaking. "The day after. Tomorrow, a family is coming from another village to see my eldest daughter for marriage. I've brought these shoes for repair because I'd be embarrassed to meet them wearing torn shoes like this. He extended his foot, revealing the shabby and worn shoes he was wearing. Bala noticed that Bahadur's shoes were in terrible condition. Quietly, he opened the sack Bahadur had brought. Inside were another pair of shoes, also in poor shape. The leather on the upper part was old but not torn, while the soles were completely worn out. Bala's experienced hands touched the leather, and he immediately recognized it as deerskin, which was soft, durable, and lightweight. But something about the shoes felt unusually heavy. Bala didn't pay much attention to this detail. Seeing Bala examine the shoes intently, Bahadur became uneasy. He feared that Bala might refuse to repair such badly damaged shoes. In a pleading tone, he said, "Bala, these shoes are ancient. I found them tucked away among some old things at home. They belonged to my grandfather and were once in excellent condition. After his passing, my father wore them until they reached this state. If it weren't for my daughter's marriage proposal, I wouldn't have brought these worn-out shoes to you. Please understand, it's a matter of honor." Bala felt deeply moved by Bahadur's words and replied, "These shoes are made of deerskin, and such shoes are very valuable. Your grandfather must have been a wealthy man." Proudly, Bahadur said. He was a prominent landlord and owned much of the land in this village. After his death, my father sold all the land and squandered the money with his friends. If he had been prudent, we wouldn't be in this situation. Sensing Bahadur's embarrassment, Bala reassured him, "Don't worry. I'll fix these shoes so well that they'll look like new." Relieved, Bahadur lowered his gaze and added hesitantly, "Bala, there's one more thing. I'll pay you for the repair later. Right now, I don't even have money to arrange food for the guests. I'm planning to ask the brick kiln owner for a loan to manage the food expenses." Touched by Bahadur's plight, Bala said, "Listen, Bahadur. Your daughter is like my daughter. Don't worry about the expenses. Even if the brick kiln owner doesn't lend you money, come to me. I've saved some money for roof repairs, but that can wait. Consider this money yours. Make proper arrangements for the guests without any worry." Moved by Bala's kindness, Bahadur's eyes filled with tears. He blessed Bala and left. Since it was a matter of a village daughter's marriage, Bala set aside all other work and focused on repairing Bahadur's shoes. The soles were so worn out that they weren't even repairable. Not only had they been badly worn out, but they were also split into two pieces from the middle. Bala took out the most expensive soles from his wooden chest, soles he used to fix the shoes of wealthy landlords in the village. After that, he got to work. By evening, the shoes were ready. Bala had worked very hard on them, and they looked as good as new. He locked all his belongings in the wooden chest, fastened the latch, picked up the bag containing Bahadur's shoes, and headed home. Throughout the process, Bala's face bore strange expressions, with a hint of subdued excitement, and he appeared very serious. His steps moved quickly toward home, as though he wanted to reach there as soon as possible. Upon reaching home, he placed the bag of shoes to one side. The two little girls were playing outside in the street with other children. Bali was cooking dinner. Bala called her over. When she came, Bala showed her Bahadur's shoes and then made her sit close as he whispered something to her. Bali's eyes sparkled with astonishment as she listened to Bala. After finishing his explanation, Bala reached into his kurta pocket, pulled out a small cloth pouch, and opened it to show Bali. Inside the pouch were many glittering diamonds and tiny gold bricks, shimmering brightly. Seeing them, Bali was both surprised and delighted. Bala said, "Now we will go to Bahadur's house. The girls are playing outside in the street, so lower the stoves. Flame. We'll be back soon." After a little while, Bala took his wife Bali along to Bahadur's house. Bahadur was at home, and he looked extremely worried and distressed. He respectfully seated Bala and his wife. Bahadur's wife and daughters also joined them. Once everyone was seated, Bahadur began telling Bala about his troubles. He said that the brick kiln owner had refused to pay him and had insulted him for always coming to ask for loans. Bala said, "Bahadur, God is very merciful and kind. Now, I will tell you all an extraordinary story. Hearing this story will make you very happy. Hearing this, Bahadur's wife and daughters looked at him with curiosity and interest. Bali had already been told by Bala about this, so she wasn't surprised. Bahadur, however, didn't understand anything. He listened to Bala with his mouth open. Seeing everyone's surprise and confusion, Bala's wife smiled. Bala began, "Bahadur, your grandfather was a very wealthy man. When I tore apart his shoes, these things came out of the heels." He took out the same small cloth pouch and placed it on the cane stool. Everyone stared at the pouch in astonishment. When Bala opened it, revealing the diamonds and tiny gold bricks inside, everyone was left speechless. Bala handed the pouch to Bahadur and said, "I think your grandfather hid this wealth in his shoes to protect it from thieves and robbers." Bahadur's reaction was priceless. He stared at the pouch in stunned disbelief, while his wife, overcome with emotion, burst into tears of joy. When they all calmed down after a while, Bahadur held Bala's hands and started crying. "Brother Bala, you're not a human, you're an angel," he said. "I will never forget this favor of yours as long as I live. There's no one as honest as you in the whole village. Bahadur, I am happy that your daughter's fate brought you this wealth. Now you're a very wealthy man in this village. Sell these items and use the money to first arrange your daughter's marriage, then start some good work." After a while, Bala and his wife got up to leave. On the way home, Bali asked softly, "Bala, how did you become so honest? You could have kept this treasure, and no one would have ever known. You could have sold it and fixed the roofs of our house, made gold jewelry for me, and enrolled our daughters in a good school in the nearby town." Hearing her words, Bala laughed, then proudly said, "The roofs of our house will also be fixed, you will also get your jewelry, and our daughters will not study in a town school but in a city school. And I will do all this with the money earned by my own hard work." Hearing this, Bali's face lit up, and she said, "Bala, we're so fortunate to have you." Hearing her praise, Bala blushed. To hide his embarrassment from his wife, he pretended to be annoyed and said, "Enough of this talk, let's head home. I can already smell dinner, and I'm starving." Bali understood that Bala was embarrassed by her praise. She smiled and started walking faster.